Wait, hold up. I want to know something. Are you chilling on a park bench right now? Are you sitting in the back of the bus, vibing out, possibly hanging from the tree, enjoying the view? Well, you're probably in the right place. This is Not Enough Questions. If you end up liking what you hear, tell a friend or leave a review. Welcome back, everyone. You know the voice. I'm Julian. Today, for the listening audience, my name is Big Brother. And as always, or not always, but with me is the unperceived Tyler.
That's me.
She's and then we actually have this episode is actually really special today because not only do we have just one redliner, we have two redliners. That's what I call guests. Because we're all connected some way, shape, or form. And they are funny. I'm letting you know right now. They're funny. They think like me just a little bit. They said they wanted to make a movie, but instead made a book. That is Jay and Kyle.
What's up? We're excited to be here. This is going to be fun. Let's do it. Let's go.
Yeah. Super excited to be here.
Yes, but as always, before we get into like the main question, how was your last 7-ish days? Kyle, I'll let you start first.
Last 7-ish days have been really busy, a lot going on, kind of, just surviving, but really exciting. Yesterday was my wife and I, our 20th anniversary. So that was a really
happy
big
anniversry.
Really big thing. Yeah. So
I don't know.
Thank you so much.
I don't know who had 20, but I guess they're disappointed now, man. That's great work. The betting still continues. That's great.
We made it. We made it to 20. So yeah, it was really good. Really good.
I've had a good week for two reasons. One, my daughters are twins and they're going to college in the fall and they just got accepted and they got a lot of scholarship money to the college they wanted to go to. And so that's a big deal because I don't know if y'all looked at college lately, but it ain't cheap.
Oh, I know.
So this is really exciting that they got to go where they wanted to go. And I think it's going to be wonderful. The other thing is just as important. My daughter and I have been watching the new Fallout TV series on Amazon Prime, and we're kind of obsessed with it right now. We got one episode left.
It looks really good. So
it's crazy good. Super weird. Crazy good.
It's based off of that video game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they do a pretty good job with it too. Like,
nice.
It's creepy and weird and funny and like all the things.
Fallout is a little creepy.
Yeah, they do a lot of weird stuff. Like, the whole world has experienced nuclear, bombing, and so radiation is everywhere, and radiation does weird things to the animals and the people and the whole nine. And then there's a vault underneath, which the rich people were in, I guess. And it's been a couple hundred years, and we're experiencing, that first generation coming out after the radiation. So super weird, super fun, very funny. Goggins kills it in this one. And I don't know if you guys know who Ella Purnell is, but like, she's got the biggest eyes I've ever seen on a human. Like I had to be like, is that real? Or are they messing with me right now?
I don't know. Some people have like really big eyes. Like, it's kind of fun.
Bigger than what's the actress, the blonde actress who's been in everything lately? Anya Taylor. What's her name? Oh gosh,
Anya Taylor-Joy.
Anya Taylor-Joy. She's got really big eyes. Bigger than hers.
Yeah, these are like, y'all need to look it up right now. Like, I mean, she's got some lookers.
See, when you said big eyes, the first person thing that I thought of was Bugsby from the movie. What's that Adam Sandler movie? Crap, I can't remember. But there was like a hamster or something that had really, really big eyes.
Oh, I'm thinking he did a new one where he voiced a lizard that my kids thought was really funny. But that's not what you're talking about.
No,
I feel like I've seen all of Adam Sandler's movies. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but I think I've seen them all.
Granted, I also should explain that I don't know famous people. I get the names wrong all the time. I might say this person and it's someone completely different. But while I look this up, Tyler, what about you? What about your last 7-ish days?
My last 7 days, I think I had hay fever. Like, it was bad. It's like everybody else is like, I've been having these great 7 days. And I'm just like, No,
Yeah.
My allergies like went away. I went to the farmer's market to grocery shop for the first time, which is actually really good. I enjoyed it. We got some farmer's market salsa. It's
Okay.
the bee's knees.
Okay.
I highly recommend everybody get their salsa from the farmer's market. It's
So
really good.
what part of the country are you in, Tyler?
We're in the South, North Carolina.
North Carolina. Okay.
That's right. Yeah.
We're in Tennessee.
We're in Nashville.
We're Tennessee boys. And right now you can go outside and take your finger and wipe the pollen off of your car. It's so bad. So we can relate to the hay fever.
I mean, there was thick pollen maybe like a week or two ago, and now it's kind of like a light dusting of pollen. So I was like, oh, my allergies are going to subside. And they just hit like 10 times harder on Monday. I was just waking up and I had to be right next to like a roll of tissue all day.
You put them up in your nose, your nostrils.
Yeah, I had to do that.
Get them up in there, walk around.
But I'm finally better. I got some Mucinex and I think it knocked like the rest of it out. And then I had some like tea with some local honey. So I was like, that was really good.
I took the Allegra. I bought a 90 count thing of Allegra yesterday and divided out the pills to people in my family like I was in Breaking Bad. I just was spreading everything out, put them in little baggies and handing them out. So I know what's up with that. What were you saying, Kyle?
No, I'm going to resist saying it because we sound like we're 75 years old here talking about our allergies. Big brother, how's your bursitis going? You know, brother, can we pray over that? You know, something like we sound like we're got one foot in the grave.
Make sure you get that shingles vaccine.
But Bedtime Story. That was the movie that I was thinking of with the hamster.
Yeah, that is right.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Like
I like that one.
But my last 7-ish days, what have I been doing? Well, today actually, I finally had a conversation with my supervisor because a couple weeks ago, he's told me that I did assignment completely wrong. And I'm like, well, great. I don't know what to do from here because I did it. And mind you, the assignment was to trace over something, right? Real simple. I did that. And he's like, this is completely wrong. I'm like, all right, I just don't understand tracing. My art life I've been wrong my whole entire time. So I'm like, what is tracing? I've asked people, and I came to we finally had this talk today, and I came to the conclusion that I didn't do it wrong per se. I just didn't do it the way he wanted me to do it.
Yeah, welcome to the job life. Always trying to figure out what your boss wants.
Yeah, it reminds me of the Office episode when it was when Michael Scott started his own paper company and they had several different managers come through. Yeah, and it was Idris Elba was the manager, and he kept asking Jim for a rundown. What's a rundown? And he had the whole episode. He had no idea what a rundown was. That was a good one. He's like, "Yeah, I'm working on that rundown." He had no idea what it was.
Yeah, no, I had something similar that happened at my last job because I have an engineering background, and my boss was like, yeah, use engineering judgment. And I was like, so a guess? And then he was like, no, engineering judgment. And I'm like, we both know that's a guess. Why are you not just telling me that I'm guessing? Like, are there cameras? Like, why are we doing this?
Yeah. But and other than that, I just realized that before we even hopped on here, I wanted to call my grandfather because he likes checking in on me. And I'm like, man, I forgot to call my grandfather. So I'm going to be doing that I'm going to be doing that tomorrow. If I'm being completely honest, it's going to be like 9 o'clock more than likely.
Grandparents go to sleep at like 9, right? 10?
Just depends.
Yeah,
my parents, not my grandparents, my parents, I'm always getting texts from my mom at like, 10:30, like really late. I'm like, I'm trying to go to bed, Mom. Come on. She's somebody's grandparent, but who knows? I guess if they're just really into my parents, I'll tell you, my parents, it's the evening news. You got to watch the evening news because how else are you going to know what's happening in the world unless you watch the evening news? I'm like, they got that's all over the internet. Just your phone, just type news and it's all there.
Yeah.
Just as long as she doesn't get on Facebook and find her news that way, because that's killing me right now.
And oh gosh, the press and hold, and put this on your message and send it around to like 7,000 people and see who replies and see if they're really your friends, all that stuff.
I don't get Facebook actually. Like I can't do a lot on there. I think I tried to do like 2 posts and I was like, that's enough. I haven't posted anything since. I just kind of like stuff when it comes up.
No, for me,
we've had to do a lot. Go ahead, big brother.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, I have a Facebook only because I have a friend who made me a Facebook like when I was in, I don't know, the 6th grade or something, and I never even used it. And I just told my friends like, yeah, I'm never gonna be on here. If you ever see like me being active on here, just know my account's been hacked. Don't even report it. Just let it be. Just let it be.
Assume.
Let them keep it. Oh gosh.
Yes, but what were you saying, Jay?
I don't remember. That's my problem.
Oh no.
I was going to say, I got it. We've had to learn a lot of Facebook and Instagram for promoting the book. It's been, all kinds of different little things we're having to learn, and like when to post and what to do, and even, monetizing ads and things like that. There's a lot going on there just from that aspect of things. And it's really weird and interesting how you can get a specified group of people that you want to advertise to. Like, for our book, like you can advertise to Elvis Presley fans or Jimi Hendrix fans that live in Idaho. I don't know, like anywhere you want. That's pretty helpful, but it's pretty tedious work.
I can easily imagine that because that's something that we're probably going to do at some point in time, just not right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did it like one time, and I think all we did was adjust the age range or something. But like that was it. I was trying not to be a little. Oh well, I guess with the podcast, we're just like we just want to catch people. So
yeah, it definitely feels creepy. I think that was the word you were going to use. It feels creepy.
Yeah.
But I guess now we should at least get into the question before it gets super late.
I mean, that was impressive. Are you guys like share a brain or something? Because like Tyler, you popped that up as he was talking about it. Money.
We actually, we have the brain cells. We actually.
This question comes from the long list of questions that's behind the scene. And Kyle or Jay, what is the question that the main question at least for today?
Yeah, the question for today is if I remember, I think I'm phrasing it correctly. Should there be reboots and live action adaptations of animated stories, movies, films, shows? Yeah,
let's go.
That's the question. That's the question.
Should there be reboots or live action movies? All right. Who wants to start? There's 4 of us in here.
I'm gonna start.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna start with the easier one because I feel like we all know like the Scooby-Doo ones.
Oh
where,
yeah, that's
like,
a good call.
They started with the cartoons and then they did the live ones. I kind of like the live action movies though. I think they're just as goofy as the shows, and so I think they portray them pretty well.
That was some of the best work Freddie Prinze Jr. has done on film, and Matthew Lillard as well. They crushed it on that film.
It's got to be done right. That I would not have thought of that, but that's a really good example because they casted well. That Matthew Lillard he really sounds like Shaggy, and so like that really. I mean, I think you've got to find somebody who can do it right. If you're gonna do it, you got to do it right. Now, a CGI Scooby was a little bit, take it or leave it. But what are you gonna do? Put a man in a giant person in a costume, like the Predator, dude, or whatever. Some dude walking around in a Scooby-Doo costume. So, yeah, mileage can vary on that. But
Kyle and I are a little bit older than you guys. But for me, I don't know if this is true for you, Kyle, but like Scooby-Doo was one of the first cartoons that I really, really remembered because for a 4-year-old or a 5-year-old or whatever, it's scary. And like, I just remembered that. I mean, they figured out somehow how to make a cartoon both fun loving and a little bit, spooky or whatever for the children watching. And I don't know why, but that just always stuck with me. Until Batman and Robin showed up and then the Harlem Globetrotters, like, You know, that was them jumping the shark at that point. But
no, that's what I loved about Scooby-Doo. I didn't find it necessarily very scary. I think that's where my love for pop culture began because, like, you know, I would watch Scooby-Doo not for Fred and Velma and, you know, and Scooby and the mystery or whatever. That's not why I watched it. I watched it because I would cross my fingers. Is Batman going to be in this one? You know, or the Globetrotters? Is it going to be? Sometimes they have bands like the Mamas and the Papas. Y'all might not even know who they are, but the Mamas and the Papas were a guest on Scooby-Doo. You know, and so it was just like that's why I watched it. I was like, I want to see who they're going to bring on the show. That was why I loved it so much. So that's crossovers. That's the first crossover thing I can remember. You know, and you know,
what about how Shaggy walked? I mean, Shaggy just had a walk. You know, he was
in the gate. Yeah.
He was definitely high, right? He was definitely high all the time, though, right?
Yeah, okay. yeah. Especially in the movie, the live action. No, the second one, they definitely like kind of hinted at it.
Yeah. His
coming
like
out of the
love
van.
interest was like Mary Jane too. They were saying that it was like a play on.
You know who did in the cartoon, the old school cartoon? You probably know this, Jay.
Oh yeah, Casey Kasem.
Casey Kasem. Do y'all know who Casey Kasem is? Do y'all remember Casey Kasem?
Not at all.
Well, yeah, Big Brother. You're not.
He was Ryan Seacrest before Ryan Seacrest.
Yes,
he did the top 40. He did all the stuff, and he was everywhere.
He hosted. Didn't he host a New Year's Eve show when we were kids?
Oh yeah.
He was big time. He was big time back in the day. But he's probably been dead for 20 years, 15 years, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, real famous voice actor and DJ, and yeah, he was. Big pop culture guy. Look him up. He's important.
I was going to say, I feel like I've heard the name before. I might just I feel like if I see his face, then I'll be like, oh, it's him. Like,
yeah. Casey Kasem was his name. He had this real distinct with this is Casey Kasem in the weekly top 40. Kind of sounded like, not exactly, but kind of like that. We've already veered way off. Speaking
of being really old, Kyle.
Yeah, me. I'm really old. Really old.
So Scooby-Doo is your like your positive reason for a live action adaptation. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think so. I feel like it really only works because it's like the cartoon nostalgic thing, you know? Mm-hmm. Well, but someone brought up, I'm like already blinking, Batman. But I feel like going from cartoon Batman to live action Batman, that was a good move.
Yeah.
I can't get enough of Batman.
It's interesting because I think, man, I'm blanking. This is going to be embarrassing. The director, you know, the famous first Batman.
Tim Burton?
Yeah, Tim Burton. I want to say Tim Robbins. I was like, that ain't right. So Tim Burton did a really good job of taking the Joker from the TV series and like bringing it into the live adaptation with Jack Nicholson, where it was similar and you kind of got it. But it was Jack Nicholson doing it. And so like we jump to that to Heath Ledger and it's like, oh, that's a little too real. That's a little too scary. You know, pretty faithful adaptations there. What about, I was going to ask you, Tyler, since you're into anime, what did you think of One Piece?
Oh, okay. So One Piece is one of those animes that I don't watch because it's really long.
Yeah, it's like 23 seasons, right?
Yeah, all my friends watch it and I do not.
I'm gonna jump in real fast because I actually watched all of One Piece. It took me a year to get caught up. This was back in 2016, and I've been caught up since. And so I am definitely biased, but I actually do like the live action One Piece because I feel like for me it's just nostalgic to see these very old episodes come back to life and be introduced to more people, actually, because in a more bite-sized way.
It's true. I feel like it was easier to digest for me personally because you see all the episodes and then people who have ever started One Piece before, like the actual anime goes so slow. It's like a fight scene could be like 20 episodes. It's insanely slow. I fall asleep every time I try to watch it. It's like not good. But the live action helped me kind of like understand the plot without having to go through all like the really long fights. So I appreciated that part as like a person who was just like, I like this, but I don't like watching it in that way.
So Tyler, you'll love this in particular, but for my, this was like a long time ago. We're gonna say like 25 years ago. For my 21st birthday, I was living in Birmingham, Alabama, and I think Kyle, you might have even been there.
I was there. I know where this is going.
My dad showed up, and he brought me a birthday present for me on my 21st birthday. He handed me a DVD of the cartoon Cowboy Bebop. Now, at that point, and I mean, I still haven't, I didn't watch it, but like, it was the most weirdest gift I'd ever received because I didn't even know what it was. I'd never watched anime, and he loved it. And so he literally took the DVD and he put it in the DVD player, and he laid down on the floor and he watched Cowboy Bebop on my birthday. And I think we just left him there.
Oh my gosh. You get a gift that's for the other person. Yeah. Sometimes it happens.
For David Watson, it would be a copy of Cowboy Bebop. Everybody would be like, what? To get on topic, they did a live action on Netflix as well. Yeah. So Netflix has done Cowboy Bebop. They've done One Piece. They've done Avatar: The Last Airbender. Like, they've kind of been doing that. And I think they've had some relative success with it. I don't think Cowboy Bebop was particularly loved, but the most recent ones have been well received.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think I had Netflix. There was like that weird moment where Netflix was kicking people off because you weren't like the main household.
Yep.
So I think when it launched, like, I wasn't on Netflix. I had to re-get Netflix. So actually, you just remind me of something that I need to watch because I have a friend who's really into Cowboy Bebop, and I started it, and it is pretty good, but I haven't watched the live action yet. I did watch, there was another one. I don't know if y'all would know this one, but it's called Death Note. This is another anime, and they did a live action for that one, and it was terrible. It was really bad. Like, they made it a romance. It was not a romance originally. Oh, wow. It took everything out of it. I mean, it was, when I tell you, like, you should watch the show just to see the live action to go, wow, this was really bad. Like, it's like the plot is fully gone. It's just insane.
It kind of goes that way with reboots too. Like, there are some reboots that you're like, why did they do this? And then there are others that are just awesome.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh,
go ahead.
No, continue. No, continue.
I'm not sure I remember what I was going to say, so you're good, man.
But I was going to say, I guess my overall thought is for reboots in live actions, I personally would prefer not to have them for the majority of them, just because I feel like it makes things too easy, or it's just like a cash grab. It's like, all right, this is like a really big name title, so let's just, instead of being creative with and come up with something somewhat original, we're just going to take the name and the likeness of what's already been done and then just slap it on. It's like, all right, people are going to watch this.
What's a really bad one, Kyle? What's a bad reboot?
Well, I mean, there's any number of them. The one I was thinking of, and to me, what makes something bad is that it started so good, and then it became bad when they tried to reboot it. And so twice now they've tried to reboot Terminator, and the first two Terminators, I'll just stop there. The first two were so good, and the third one is whatever. And then the one after that, actually, it was all, the first four were all in the same continuity, right? And it, it kind of, as much as time travel stories make sense, it kind of makes sense. And then they do this whole other thing where they bring in the girl who played, Khaleesi on Game of Thrones as Sarah Connor. And then they're like, nah, that one didn't count. Let's start all over again. And they do a whole nother one with a whole new Terminator.
Christian Bale.
Arnold Schwarzenegger's still in it. And it's just, it's just like, and Sarah Connor's still alive where she had died. And, it's just like,
it complicates things.
It just makes it so complicated. So for me, it's like, if you're gonna reboot something, you've got to go clean break, so you can't muddy the waters between is Christian Bale's Batman in the Michael Keaton Batman world? It's like, no, he's not the same guy, just played by a different actor. Like, you could say the first four Batmans, Michael Keaton did the first two, then Val Kilmer, then, George Clooney. That was supposedly all in the same continuity, right? So when they did the Christian Bale ones, it was like, clean break. That, that's different. That doesn't, apply to this story. Yeah. It's a completely whole new story, completely, not just new actors, but completely whole new story. all that stuff. I think if you're going to do reboots, that's the way you got to do. You can't make it fuzzy or muddy or, now it's, multiverse. Everything matters. Everything's, all part of whatever, that Flash movie where they brought in every single, DC property ever in that. But, all that to say, I feel like you're going to reboot. You got to just start completely clean and fresh. The old thing never happened, or it doesn't matter, doesn't weigh in at all to whatever we're doing now. That's my thought.
You said that, and two movies came to my mind, and I can't remember the first movie, but the second movie that I just thought of was Space Jam 2.
From Jordan to LeBron.
Yes, that one. And I personally found the movie okay, but I'm like you just said, like, if you're going to do a reboot of a movie, do something different, scrap, and actually do a new movie. But with with respect to,
was that Space Jam? Was that an actual reboot, or was it sort of like a sequel? I couldn't really figure out if it was trying to just be, hey, it's a sequel, or if it was like this completely whole new thing. I couldn't tell.
Couldn't even tell you.
I couldn't tell, but as of right now, I feel like it falls into. It was like it was trying to do both, like be a reboot and a sequel at the same time.
I read this is not on topic, but not about what we were just talking about. I read a article today that said that Michael Keaton is going to play Batman again, and it's going to be a sequel to the 1989 film. So not a reboot, but a sequel Michael Keaton's films, right? His 1 and 2. I guess it'll be the third in that story, and it's going to pick up from 89. I don't know how they're going to do it, what it's going to be like, but it's going to be a sequel from that.
That is scary to me. Well, the only people who I've seen successfully do something with that big of a gap was like The Incredibles 2 was really good.
Mm-hmm. And
it actually fit with The Incredibles 1.
Yeah, but that's not fair because, you don't have to deal with actors aging or anything like that. You just get to, you get to keep going, even though it's 7 or 8 years or whatever it was.
Oh, the greatest of all time, though, is Top Gun Maverick. Oh, don't get me started.
Here we go again.
Top Gun Maverick. It was so good. It was perfect in every way. Oh, it was so good. I love it. Have y'all seen Top Gun and Top Gun Maverick? Y'all too young
I have not.
I feel like I've heard so much about Top Gun, and then I heard that it was coming out, and I was just like, I have not watched it for this long. I'm not sure that it's going to make any sense if I watch this one.
Well, it's just airplanes. It doesn't, there's no real story apart from, there's just a few small little who are these characters? There's only 2 or 3 characters that carry over from the first and the second one. But if you ever desire to see how you do a movie 25 years after the original and do it right, just go watch Top Gun Maverick. That's it.
Tom Cruise did a reboot, kind of a reboot of a lot of films. He did Mission Impossible was a TV show, and he took it and made it into the movies. And then that itself has been sort of reinvented as it's gone along. Maybe not technically a reboot, but the first Mission Impossible that he did compared to the last 2 or 3 is not the same world. It's just not.
Got so much better.
I have to get into Mission Impossible because it's one of the long series. For some reason, I just like watching long series everything. So that's one I'll have to get into.
8 seasons, that's all I got in me. If you go to 9 seasons or more, forget it.
No, my gosh, I tried to watch Grey's Anatomy and I was just like, it was like season 10 and I was like, I can't do it anymore.
Yeah,
there's too much going on.
That's some drama is what that is.
That one and like Supernatural I tried to do and I'm just like, I'm very up and down with long seasons.
I think I never watched Supernatural, but you're right. That show was on forever.
That's forever. Super long.
Okay. Reboots. The most recent one is Roadhouse. Patrick Swayze's Roadhouse film was in the 80s, and for people our age, it's kind of a famous film. But then the new one with Jake Gyllenhaal is a true reboot. It's a true reboot. It's not really connected. It's the same character, same kind of background, sort of. And it's a fantastically fun movie and nothing more. I don't know if you guys have seen that. It's just, Conor McGregor's just eating up the screen, acting ridiculous. But that is a true reboot, and I think it worked. I mean, it was taking something like that happened in the 90s or 80s and then bringing it to today. And then they're about to do The Fall Guy with Ryan Gosling. Again, that's one of those that you probably never even remember anything about it. And so that's one of the valuable things about a reboot is if nobody knows what it is, then like you're just kind of bringing an idea to the current times. And, you know, that's not a bad thing.
I think that's actually a good way to do it is when the movie is old enough to where there's not as many people who can remember it or it's faded into the background. I think that's a good time to do a reboot. Isn't there a new one coming out or that came out, The Color Purple? I've never seen it, but isn't that also considered a reboot as well?
Yeah, Fantasia.
Wasn't the new one a musical though? And the original, was the new one a musical? I feel like it might have been. I know it's a Broadway play, but the original was like super serious.
Was the original a movie or was it originally a Broadway that became a movie and then they?
I feel like it was a book. I could be wrong on this, but I feel like it was a book that became a movie, that became a Broadway, that became a musical. Its own
EGOT is what you're telling me. That's amazing.
It was the original was Steven Spielberg though. That was like his first like serious role, directorial. Didn't he direct that?
I'm about to check, Kyle, because I don't know.
I feel like he did. I know. I can tell you.
It sounds like you just made something up. Is what it sounds like. I'm about to look it up.
It came out in '85. Jay, check it. Check my date on that.
This is where he does his thing. It's crazy.
I'm going to say my computer like glitched out. I don't even know what we're talking about. I was trying to guess, get like context clues from what you guys were saying.
The Color Purple, 1985.
Oh,
with Danny Glover, Whoopi Goldberg, Oprah, and it is directed by none other than Steven Spielberg. You are right, Kyle.
Yeah.
Hey,
and I'm looking on the year right now. Oh, 1985. Wow.
And I have the book.
Wow. So it was a book that became a movie, that became a Broadway play, that became a musical. Isn't the most recent film a musical?
The most recent movie is a musical. I actually have not seen it yet, but it's funny. I've always seen clips of The Color Purple, and I really just fully watched the movie. Well, I guess I fully watched the movie as an adult recently is what it was. Because, like, it's funny being, like, at, like, 25 now and being like, oh, I didn't really watch things, like, from adult perspectives. I just, like, can reference things. And then when I rewatch them, I'm like, oh, I get a whole new perspective on this. So that's kind of nice too, in a sense. But I could finally grasp the actual concept of the movie. And I was like, oh, this is great. I understand why people like this so much.
All right.
Well, that really does.
Go ahead, Kyle.
Well, I was to say that really does kind of bring up then, sort of is a reboot when you take something, but you do it in a different way. So The Color Purple originally was a drama, a very serious drama film. And I feel like I didn't see the new one, but the new one seemed like, I think it was the same story, but it felt very much more upbeat and lively, and like, with the musical element. So, I mean, the commercials at least seemed a lot more like, the other one seemed very heavy. This one seemed a lot more light and fun. Anyway, so is that truly a reboot if you take something and then do it completely different? Same story, just do it in a different way. Like this new Mean Girls. Did y'all see the new Mean Girls movie? I haven't seen that either.
I haven't, but I've heard about it.
I did.
The original from 2004 was outstanding. It was so funny. And this new one, I'm like, Tim Meadows is in it and Tina Fey is in it. Like the people who were in the original movie, are they just reprising their role? Are they, I didn't know what it was at all. So anyway, it's maybe a bad example, but it's like, is this just, it's like a sequel? Is it we're gonna do this just same thing and just pretend like the other one didn't happen? I don't know. It's one of those weird questions.
You make a valid point. There's a fine line where that I don't think people hit the mark on a lot when it comes to reboots. It's because you, like I said, I would want you to do something different, but not so much so to where it's unrecognized. Like you can't tell that it's not like the thing that came to my mind was like just off the top of my head was like if Garfield became like a robotic cat or something. I'm like, this isn't Garfield other than just their name. But
and lasagna, which is like full circle from where we've been today.
Where we started, yeah. Or like if Garfield was a dog now or something, like completely changed, or or he's a peacock, or something.
What if
like
he hated Tuesdays? That would be such a messed up thing to do.
But Jay, what were you saying?
I pulled up a list of 25 best reboots. It's from a website. I don't know if I'm supposed to say the website's name or not, but I'm going to read some of them, and you give me a thumbs up or thumbs down if you thought it was a good reboot. All right.
This is a good exercise.
I like
2013's Evil Dead.
Never seen
anybody? Okay. Just check it. What about Halloween in 2018? No horror fans here, okay?
I'm not a horror fan.
Star Wars The Force Awakens. They're calling that a reboot.
I mean, that's just a sequel.
Oh, thumbs down. Hey, if we wanted to get into like a little bit nitpicky, it's the same story as the others. So I mean, it's kind of it's reawakening, Kyle. All right.
Have you seen that thing where the guy says that all the Star Wars movies are misnamed, and he goes through and like switches the names around and what they should be? It's really funny. It's really
Return of the Jedi should be probably episode 8 or whatever, right?
I was like, I just learned. I just hope no one learns how to count from Star Wars, because doesn't it go like 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 7.5, 8, 9?
Yes.
4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9. Yeah.
All right. 2011, Jason Segel took on, and what's her name? Amy. I don't know. Took on the classic The Muppets. Did you guys watch that one?
Oh yeah, Amy Adams. Yeah, I enjoyed that one. Yeah, that wasn't bad at all.
No,
I'm playing a different game than you guys. I'm saying, hey, have I even heard and or seen of this movie?
He's so not pop culture whatsoever. So
all
this
right.
is very funny watching him.
This one's for you, Tyler, because I don't know.
Okay.
Evangelion 1.0. You are not alone.
What?
Is that the one Charlize Theron? She's
looks like a cartoon. Evangelion.
Oh, Evangelion. Okay, I think I know what you're talking about. I don't think I saw that, so I can't. I don't know.
All right, this is one that we can talk a little bit about, although I don't know if you guys ever saw the originals. The Rise of the Planet of the Apes. That's a complete reboot.
Yeah.
I've actually seen this movie. And
welcome to the chat, big brother. Welcome to the chat.
Which is also kind of crazy. I've also seen the original just a little bit.
Okay.
Well, you know what's funny about the Planet of the Apes is that the originals were like the 70s. It was like Charlton Heston. They got progressively cheesier. The costumes got progressively worse. But then in the late 90s, like 98, Mark Wahlberg rebooted it. They did one movie where Mark Wahlberg rebooted it, and it didn't go anywhere. It was terrible. Yeah. And then they do these like newer ones that come out within the last like 12 years or whatever, 10, 12 years, which are like kind of more serious and, and they've done really well. They've been really successful. Yeah. They've been really successful.
Yeah. And that's a thumbs up for me. The Rise of the Planet of the Apes. Yes. I
haven't seen them all. I saw the first one where it was sort of like the backstory of how the apes became sentient or whatever. And then I saw the one after that. Again, it was like a whole new cast. But I don't think I've seen any of the others from that point on.
So what about the reboot of all reboots that happens about every 5 years, which is Spider-Man?
Interesting. I like all of the Spider-Mans. I'll be honest. I like them all for different reasons.
Okay.
But I like them.
Yeah. Who's your favorite Spider-Man?
Man, it's hard. I know people are gonna like really boo me for this, but I really like this newest Spider-Man with
Tom Holland.
Toby.
Yeah, because I think he actually plays a kid. Like, I can believe that he's someone who's actually coming of age and trying to figure out like, oh no, like I have spider powers. Like, what am I gonna do? And like everybody else, I feel was maybe old. Maybe they were the same age, but they just had an older.
No, that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield were both pushing 30 when they played Spider-Man. Tom Holland was like 17. Like it was. You're right. You're absolutely right. It wasn't until the most recent one where I started looking at him going, he doesn't quite look like a teenager anymore. He's starting to look a little too like, like he's aged out of that version of Spider-Man. Now, the 20-something Spider-Man, he's still perfect for. I think he's the best Spider-Man in my opinion.
For me, I like the Spider-Man movies, but I do want to see him actually grow up. Like I'm tired of the with great power comes like I'm like cool, good. We've seen him be a kid as well for the past 20 years. Move on, please. Give me an adult version of Spider-Man where he's.
I think we're getting close to that. I think that may be where they're heading next is grown up Peter Parker. All right. This is going to show your true nerdiness. Okay. We've dipped our toe into the nerdy waters, but here's this one right here. What about the reboot of Star Trek?
I like it.
Look,
we're talking about with Chris.
Big Brother's
Chris
like
Pine,
Star
right?
Trek. Is that like Star Wars? What is that?
I've heard of it.
Is that the one with Chris Pine though?
Yeah. Chris Pine.
Yeah,
and,
I love those
Zachary
movies.
Quinto.
The new ones, they're the newest one's like 8 years old at this point, but the newer ones definitely were like, hey, we're not going to do the boring old, heavy science and science fiction Star Trek. We're going to make an action movie. So you go back and watch the J.J. Abrams ones, the first two, and those are just heart pounding. The whole movie, you're like, dude, this is awesome. So I mean, they may not hold up, the test of time, but in terms of just like singular movie going experience, I saw both of those in the theater. I was like, this is awesome. And the second one where they flipped everything from from Star Trek 2, like it was just, man, it was really good. I enjoyed those reboots.
Star Trek itself has done, I don't know, 4 reboots. Like they've done a lot of reboots. Each one has its own kind of thing. So, I mean, that would be a good case study for the value of a reboot. All right. Top Gun Maverick. We've already covered that. No need to talk about it more.
10 of 10. 10 of 10.
We talked about Mission Impossible. The Batman we've talked about. They brought that one up with Robert Pattinson and Zoe Kravitz.
Well, let's talk about this, though.
Okay.
Concerning the Batman. All right. What I don't like is what they're doing now, where it's like, we've got the Robert Pattinson Batman and we've got the Joaquin Phoenix Joker, and they're not related at all. And then there's the stuff that was in the Flash, and like the
Ben Affleck Batman.
The Ben Affleck Batman, that has nothing to do with this either. And it's like running concurrently. I'm like, and this is kind of what I was talking about earlier with Terminator. Like, let's just do one thing. Let's have one story instead of like 6. It's just really hard to keep up with all of them. And I know that's sort of like DC was like, let's be the anti-Marvel. Marvel's like, we're going to have one story and we're going to do it well and all this. And DC's like, we're going to do whatever we want. You want to make a Joker movie? Make a Joker movie. You want to make a, another Joker movie that has nothing to do with that Joker movie? Go ahead and make it, And so, I feel like this story gets so muddled. And of course, now I'm not a comic book guy. Jay's a comic book guy, so it probably didn't bother him. But I know, because that's how comic books are. There's like, you go to the rack and there's like 6 Spider-Man comics. Like, are these all the same? Are they different? I don't really know. I've never really known the answer to that question.
And then they're going to reboot the DC universe, actually. I think they're like completely, they're like, we're done with this. We're doing a whole nother one.
We're doing the Marvel route thing now.
I'm a giant James Gunn believer, and he's got in charge of that. I think he's going to do a good story. I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, I think so too, because what he did with Guardians of the Galaxy and
Kyle's biggest prediction miss of movies so far, and I will never let him forget it. So I just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, I miscalculated. I thought the public appetite for weirdness, when the MCU, this was 2014, when it came out, I was like, this is it. The people are not going to tolerate this. Like, they'll watch Thor, they'll watch Hulk, they'll watch Iron Man and whatever, like these normal superheroes. But when you got a talking tree and a talking raccoon, people are like, no, that's going to be a bridge too far for most people. And I was dead wrong. It made $400 million in the box office.
I'm not gonna lie, I was also one of those people who was kind of skeptical, because I before the movies had really never heard about Guardians of the Galaxy, so it opened me up to like a whole different side. And I was just like, wow, this is awesome.
All right.
You did.
I got one that was a TV show that you guys probably never saw, and then became a movie in a very different role. We went from Johnny Depp to Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill. 21 Jump Street, and then 22 Jump Street, respectively.
I seen both those movies, actually.
Yeah.
I did not know that was a reboot.
Yeah. Late 80s TV show. Yeah.
That's how Johnny Depp got famous.
It was. Yeah.
Wow.
It was like all these way too cool looking, actors playing undercover cops in high school. They went
they were all 30 somethings in high school, like walking around, like trying to pretend like they're a high schooler. And everybody's like, yeah, this is great. This is great television. So cool. Watch some popcorn.
Oh my gosh.
My favorite part of the new reboot was when Jonah Hill was dating Ice Cube's daughter and had to deal with all that. That was just kind of perfect in every way for me.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Crazy.
The Mummy, I didn't know was a reboot. That's interesting. Blade Runner 2049. Did you guys watch any of the Blade Runner films? Did you even know Blade Runner existed?
Yeah, I do know Blade Runner. I think I've watched it, but I probably because my dad's this is the only reason I'm a nerd is because my dad's a nerd. But I'm pretty sure he's probably even seen Blade Runner, and I've been there, and I just didn't know I was watching it. So.
You probably fell asleep. It's pretty slow. The new Blade Runner is not a reboot. It's a sequel. It's just a 30 years later sequel. Well,
yeah, but I mean, you're right. But it's also kind of a reintroducing something to the culture, because Blade Runner was for old people, and then they brought in Gosling, and they brought in the different people that they brought in for that one. All right, Ocean's 11 is actually a reboot.
Mm-hmm.
Ocean's 11, is that the one that
Heard
was
of it?
woman-led?
That was what?
Woman-led?
Oh, that was
Ocean's
8.
Ocean's 8.
Oh, okay. I was going to say I did not like that one. I do like the older ones with Brad Pitt, right?
Yeah, but that's a reboot of an old one with Frank Sinatra. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. The Rat Pack. They were called the Rat Pack. All those famous Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr. That was one of their movies that they made together. And then Brad Pitt and Matt Damon, George Clooney, all of them. They then rebooted it. Yeah. Big Brother, what are you gonna say, man? We cut you off twice. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, didn't Ocean 8 and Ocean 11 kind of come out roughly at the same time too? That's what my memory's telling me.
Yeah, Ocean's 11 came out in 2001, and Ocean's 8 came out in 2016 or 18 or something like that. Yeah. But the Ocean, that's kind of what I was asking about The Color Purple. Is it a reboot when you have the same story, but it's done in a completely different way? So you have a drama, then you turn it into a musical. So with the Ocean's film, it's a good question. It went from Ocean's 11, all 11 men, to Ocean's 8, all 8 women. So it's same story. I mean, different story, but same idea, completely different cast. You see sometimes they'll take trying to think of an example. This is really corny, but there was a 1950s TV show called The Honeymooners, and then Cedric the Entertainer made a all black cast of the exact same show. So it's the same idea, but take it and just do it in a completely different way. So change the gender, change the race, change the whatever. So, I mean, does that feel like a reboot? Is that just we're doing the same thing, just turning it on its side, doing it a different way?
I feel like that's a remake at that point. But I will say with Ocean's 8, because I think Sandra Bullock was supposed to be related to
Danny Ocean.
And so I think it was only supposed to be a continuation almost.
Same universe.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So maybe a reimagining is what we're saying there.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what that is. All right, I got the top 3. Here's number 3. They said that Casino Royale was the number 3 best reboot. So you got James Bond. They did it in the 70s? Is that when they did that one?
50s. The first ones were the late 50s.
Okay. Who was that? Was that Sean Connery?
That was Sean Connery.
Yeah. And then you got Daniel Craig doing the new one. Yeah. That was an excellent reboot. I thought.
It's really good.
Yeah. Number 2, Mad Max Fury Road.
I don't watch the.
I haven't seen that one yet. That's another one I'm going to watch eventually.
I definitely did not think I was going to watch that. I fully haven't seen it. And I'm maybe someone will put it on and I'll be in the room and be like, I'll try it out, but I can't see myself putting it on.
So the first Mad Max had Mel Gibson in it. And then the second Mad Max had Mel Gibson and then Tina Turner was in it.
That was the third one. Third one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize there was I missed one there. And then
the Road Warriors, the second one.
The newer ones was like Sam Worthington. Was that right?
It's Bane. The guy plays Bane.
Yeah, I think I know.
Yeah.
Tom Hardy.
Yeah, and then Charlize Theron is kind of the one that's, they're doing another story about her backstory. So they're still working it out there. And then the number one
weird. Hang on, let's land here for a second, because this is interesting, because it really is like it's supposed to be the same character, but it's played by a completely different actor. It's in the same universe,
Mm-hmm.
It's
same director.
Yeah. It's a fantastic movie, but it is so weird. I mean, so weird.
Yeah.
I can't.
It's like Australian anime is what it is. It's like Australian anime.
Australian live action anime. Yes.
Yeah.
Like they got these muscle cars. They got these like trucks and muscle cars, and dude with playing guitar like as they're attacking. It's so weird.
It's a fever dream. No question
about that. It's like Rockstar, like dystopia in my mind. Yeah.
And like the leader of the people in this post-apocalyptic world is like, this like 400-pound man who like wears makeup, like clown makeup type looking, and it's just weird. I mean, it's so weird, but it's so good. Like it really is. Basically the whole movie's a car chase. So like if you're looking for a thriller, like wow, this is super cool. Check it out. But you don't have to know anything. You don't have to know anything about any other movie. Just watch it. If you want to have a good time and like be on the edge of your seat, like what the heck am I watching?
Yeah, it's kind of like
go for the ride.
Kind of like Fast and the Furious on acid is kind of what that's like.
I
love these descriptions.
Anything with cars is like car related things, unless I'm watching like the actual movie Cars, or I used to watch Wacky Racing on Boomerang.
Yeah, I love that.
Awesome. Yeah.
I love that. That was like an all-star kind of cartoon right there.
Yeah, it was really good.
The number one reboot that they say is none other than someone who's already been mentioned on this podcast so far. You got any ideas? Is also another person's famous name. There's a hint. And we've already talked about him.
Oh, we already talked about him. It's one person?
Yes.
I'm totally drawing a blank.
Michael B. Jordan's
Creed. My goodness.
Creed.
Oh.
Wow. I'm shocked that a Jurassic Park wasn't on there. I was for sure waiting for that. Would y'all consider that a reboot?
That's sort of. Yeah, that's sort of. Again, it's the same thing. Creed is, I mean, it's a continuation of the story. It's just taking a side character. It's like it's now Apollo's son, but Rocky's in the first two. So I mean, it's not called Rocky anymore, but it's still like in the Rocky universe,
same world. Yeah.
I feel like with Jurassic universe, the Jurassic universe, and the Rocky universe, they're all just continuations, because don't they even references like, in the past this happened, in the past that happened, like
that's true.
The only one of the Chris Pratt Jurassic Park movies that I've seen is they get in one of those Jeeps from the original one, that does the tour through the park. They find one of those Jeeps and jumpstart it, and that's what they drive as they escape, so it is. It's just a continuation.
What a weird job to be basically a dinosaur wrangler.
Right.
Like I don't know that that's on one of those tests like when you're taking in high school and they're like, what are you going to be when you grow up? And they're like, I'm going to be a dinosaur wrangler. Like, I don't know.
You would have to pay me a lot.
Especially the velociraptors.
Well, you think about those guys the bomb makers that don't have fingers and stuff, It's like being a dinosaur wrangler, like you're missing some limbs for sure. It's like Tiger. What was that? Was a Netflix series?
Tiger King.
Tiger King, where like all the people were like, "Yeah, this tiger. I love tigers. This one chewed my leg off," and they're like hobbling around. You're like,
no. Tiger King was also so concerned. Like, I think I only watched clips of it through social media, and I was just like, who is, like, what is going on? And then all the stuff was coming out afterward about all the people on there, and I was just like,
yeah, I can't do that.
oh my God.
How about that? Okay, so I think I saw a commercial for a movie that they're making based on the Tiger King people. So
I'm not surprised.
Would that be a reboot? Would that be an adaptation? It's not a cartoon to live action, but it would be an adaptation of a Netflix series.
Well, it's like a based on a true story though kind of thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Whole nother genre.
Yeah. I think in summary for me, when I think about whether it's a live action adaptation of a cartoon or whatever, or whether it's a reboot, I can't say yes or no, you should or you shouldn't do it. All I can say is just make the story good. Like
make it good.
If you're going to start over, just make it good. Do it right. Back to Scooby-Doo, make a good cast. Don't think it's, make it. I think you said this, Tyler, earlier. Just don't make it a money grab. Like really care about the story, craft a story, think about it, plan it out. That's the problem with Star Wars. They didn't plan it out when they made new ones. All those things, like where you going, really care about it, plan the story out, think about it, and don't just say, well, if we build it, they will come, which they may, but they won't keep coming over and over again. If it's bad, people won't care. So I think that's my final analysis or assessment.
I got two things with that. I got two things with that. One, with it planning out, that is why I like One Piece, because from episode 1 to 1,100 currently, it's all been connected some way, shape, or form. It does take some time to get to see how it's connected.
Are you making that up? Was that just a joke?
No.
So serious.
It takes a while. But
let's go back to that real quick. Did you say 1,000 episodes?
It's got like 1,000 plus now.
1,100, yeah.
1,109. I looked it up because I have no idea what One Piece is, so I had to look it up. 1,109. Pirates,
kind of.
I mean, it's about pirates, kind of. What are the Simpsons up to? I mean, I can't, like, even there, it's like there's no way they're close to that. They're probably in the 400s.
They have to be more than that, I would think.
Let's see. I'm looking on IMDb. Here we go. Okay. And I was wrong. It was 1,113 of One Piece.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's right. We did crack 100.
Did you say we?
Yeah, he said we. That's exactly.
Are you part of the One Piece Nation?
Yes.
He's a creator. He's created. You're on the right team.
That's how you started.
I mean, I guess if you make it to 1,013, it's probably like family or something.
768 Simpsons episodes. 768.
Okay. Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
My kind of like you, big brother. My aunt Jean Ellen, she gets into TV shows so much that at night she'll lay in bed and start praying for the TV characters. That's true. That's not even a joke.
That is dedication.
Yeah, she'll be praying for him, and I'm like, you know they're not real, right? Like, that's
actually these are characters.
Two-dimensional.
You don't want to laugh while somebody's praying, but it's like, I hope Scooby-Doo does okay in the next episode, and you're just like,
That I wanted to ask you guys was, what is one show or movie that you would actually want to see rebooted?
Yeah, I was gonna ask that too. That's a good question.
Would want to see,
or would brain cell?
Yeah, now you're a part of the collective brain cell.
Did you say would or would not?
Would. You would want them to actually make it, and hopefully it ends up being good. But you can't say. You just
Jay, do you have one on deck? I need to think on that. I might even pray on that.
I have mine.
All right, what you got?
I have mine. I'm not sure if you guys seen this one, but the movie Treasure Planet. That is one movie that I would love to see a live action take on.
Live action.
Didn't Disney? Is that Michael J. Fox and
that's
Disney?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that could be good. Yeah, you're right.
Could be good. Yeah, I think my kids like that one. When Disney Plus came out, I was searching through. I was like, hey, check this one out. This one might be cool.
Treasure Planet is pretty good. Ooh, I would like to see Hoodwinked. If any of y'all have seen that movie.
Oh yeah, that's fun.
That would be really good.
That's a
Hey,
good movie.
that's a funny movie. Is that the
great
gnomes?
movie. Like I don't even know. It's one of those movies where like it's not really attached to anything big, I think.
It's a lot of fairy tales, right?
Yes.
It's like a collection of fairy tales. So it's like following Red Riding Hood, but then
that movie's a trip. That movie's a trip. I like that one.
It was really good. The grandma does extreme sports.
I have that her line. Just wait one pea picking minute, just because I'm crap. What's a double crossing secret agent doesn't mean I'm lying. I'm like, wait a minute.
When they're like interrogating all of them, it's just so great. Yeah,
it's good.
Yes.
I mean, if I'm thinking about cartoons, I don't think this has been done yet, but I loved Voltron growing up, and I think it would be so cool to have a Voltron live action. Like, I don't know
like
what that would
one.
be like.
Have you seen the newer one on Netflix? Yeah, I love that. That's a really good one.
I was always confused of how Voltron and Power Rangers were different.
Yeah,
but I watched Voltron and Power Rangers, but I'm like, I like them both.
I think Voltron's quite a bit more depressing, right?
Yeah. I think it is a
little darker.
They had to
absolutely.
They edited quite a bit, from what I understand, from the Japanese version to what showed in America in the 80s. Yeah, I think they had to edit quite a bit. Yeah.
I want a reboot of the film Goonies. That's what I want. I want to see a new Goonies.
Okay. That's pretty beloved,
that's why I want to see it. If it were done well, I think that would be. How would you update that? What would be the modern thing?
Man,
the 80s economic crash and the 2007 or whatever is a very similar kind of experience, and losing houses and all that. That would be pretty interesting.
I don't know if I want to see this, but I saw a deep fake of Back to the Future with Robert Downey Jr. as Doc Brown and Tom Holland as Marty McFly, and it was perfect. And I started thinking about that, and I wrote about half the movie in my brain in like six minutes when I was thinking about it. So if I could have that cast, if I could have a crazy Robert Downey Jr. as Doc Brown and Tom Holland as Marty McFly, I would be up for Back to the Future. But I don't think I want to see it. But that's I can't think of anything else. So I think that would be a that could be fun at the very least. It could be
I think
fun.
They've had lots of talks about that.
Yeah. So my thought was, okay, so the thing with Back to the Future is always so unexplained and honestly kind of creepy. Why is Marty McFly, who's a pretty cool guy, he's got a cute girlfriend, whatever, why is his best friend this like 60-year-old man? Okay. Like, no one ever really asks that question.
Because Marty McFly likes to rock. And there's no way he could create that amp on his own. So he reached out. He answered an ad in the phone papers or whatever in the newspapers, and him and Doc Brown became friends because they needed something. They needed to work together there.
I could see that. So my thought was, though, in the remake, Doc Brown is actually Uncle Brown. He's this estranged, like weird uncle, and he shows up at a family gathering and he's talking about time travel. And Marty, is there and he's like, this guy's nuts. This guy's crazy. And somehow he goes back in time and now he's got to hang with Uncle Brown. They can still call him Doc, but you know what I mean? Like, but he's an uncle. He's a distant relative.
Family member of some type.
Yeah, that takes the creepiness of this old man.
I like that.
I've never really watched it. Maybe some of you can correct me or not, but isn't kind of Rick and Morty kind of the same thing? I mean, isn't it like an old weird creepy dude?
Grandpa.
If I heard and read correctly, so take this with a grain of salt.
Yeah,
I heard that Rick and Morty was actually based off of
Back to the Future.
Back to the Future.
Yeah,
and was as like a parody, and then it became its own thing.
Yeah,
that makes sense because they have it in the show as his grandpa, and so like at least they have that connection. So it's not like he just met this old man on the road or something.
You guys will have to forgive me, but I've got a date with twin daughters to take them to dinner tonight, so I'm gonna have to.
I was about to say, I was like, I was going to give you the floor for the listeners. You can hear how Jay and Kyle think about their book and everything, but I'll give the floor to you before we head off and everything. So
Yeah.
the floor is yours. If there's anything you want to promote, say anything. Anything is yours.
I'll give a short description of the book, and then Kyle, if you want to give the pitch of where they can get it.
Sure.
We wrote a ridiculous, fun, zany story about the theory of what if all the rock stars that died too soon in life didn't actually die? What if they faked their deaths to become secret agents to save the world? Our story takes place in 1999. The DRS team of secret agents is working to stop a problem that's in 1999 that they can't quite figure out. And so they recruit a new member to fake his death and become part of the DRS. And his name is Cole Denton. And Cole Denton is a tech rock star in the vein of Steve Jobs or Zuckerberg or one of those people. And he's there to help them battle this world-ending problem that they don't know how to stop. And we get to go into the universe and get to meet all of these famous rock stars that are now living these secret lives in 1999 through the eyes of Cole Denton. And it is a story that's not unlike Men in Black or the Kingsman. It's fun. It's ridiculous. It's a secret world that nobody knows about that's actually behind the scenes doing everything they can to help make the world a better place.
Yeah, and you can find it anywhere books are sold. We do have a website, deadrockstarsbook.com, where you can get autographed copies directly from us if you like. That helps a lot. But if you want to get it from Amazon, you want to get it from your local bookstore, they can order it. You can find it anywhere books are sold. Now, it's not going to be in stores, but online. So yeah, we'd love to get you a copy. Check out our website. Grab your copy of the Dead Rock Stars. It's a lot of fun, and like Jay said, it's zany, but it's great. We're
proud of it.
We're really proud of it. We think it's a really good story. That was my thing. Make it a good story. We think it's a really good story.
And it would be a great movie.
Fantastic.
Just saying. Just saying.
Someone reach out to them and listen to this. And you now have some ideas. But before I'll let you go, fully, Jay, the last thing we do is the thing. And for me, it's my turn to do the thing. So my thing is a quote from Donnell Rawlins, and it is, "If you can't find happiness in the struggle, you won't get the reward." That's it.
That's good. That's good.
To say, don't forget to ask yourself, ask others, and never stop asking questions. See you.
We're done.
Bye.
Wow, you're still here. Well, if you enjoyed the episode, there are a few different ways to support our podcast. Following us on Twitter, Instagram, or YouTube, or becoming a supporter of our Patreon for $2 or $5 a month, where you'll have access to never-before-released visual episodes, funny bloopers, polls, or you can pose a question. The links can be found in the description wherever you listen. The simplest way to support us is by leaving a review about how great or bad we are, or telling a friend about our show. Anyways, thanks for listening.